Hello dear students, in the previous class we were discussing the subject-verb agreement. Let us continue with the remaining rules. The next rule is subject of different persons joined by or, nor, either or, neither nor agrees with the person with the one nearest to it. That means when two different subjects are joined and it is different in persons, it can be first person or second person or third person, or it is different. In such cases, agrees in persons with the one nearest to it. So we have to look at the second subject. If the second subject is a singular, then we have to use a singular verb. If the second subject is a plural, then we have to use the plural verb. For example, either he or I am mistaken. Here, if we look at the first subject, then we have to use the is. But here, the second subject is I, and that is first person singular. And along with I, we always use am. So it must be I am mistaken. The next example is neither he nor you. Here he is a singular and you is a second person. So with the second person we are using are. So neither he nor you are to blame. So that is the first rule. That is the next rule that we have to study. Subjects of different persons joined by or, nor, neither or, either or. In such cases, we have to look at the second subject. If the second subject is a singular, then we have to use a singular verb. If the second subject is plural, then we have to use plural verb. The next one, nouns singular in form but plural in meaning. So it may look like a singular, but its meaning will be plural. In such cases, we have to use the plural verb. For example, the police are looking for clues to trace the culprit. People looks like a singular, but it is plural. People in the village are building a new road. 1 dozen bananas cost 5 rupees. So dear students, if the subject looks like singular, but in meaning, if it is plural, then we have to use a plural verb. The next one is nouns plural in form but singular in meaning. Just opposite of the previous rule. Nouns looks like plural, but it may in meaning it may be singular. For example, in such cases we have to use a singular verb. That means when we construct a sentence and when we need to use the subject verb agreement, then we have to look at the meaning of the subject. If the subject looks like plural or looks like singular, but if it when we look at its meaning, if it is singular in meaning, then we have to use a singular verb. If it is a plural in meaning, then we have to use a plural verb. That is the basic rule. So here for the example, nouns plural in the form but singular in meaning, then we have to use the singular verb. For example, good news is always welcome. Politics, physics, these subjects looks like plural, but they are singular in meaning. Politics is a dirty game. Physics is an interesting subject. So that is the difference. So once again, we have to look at the meaning of the subject. If it is a plural in meaning, then we have to use a plural verb. If it is a singular in meaning, then we have to use a singular verb. The next one, words joined by with, together with, or as well as. There are subjects will be joined with, together with, as well as. In such cases, we have to look at the first subject. Then the verb must agree with the first subject. For example, the teacher with all the students of his class. In this case, the teacher is a singular, or the students of his class is plural. There are two subjects, and the first subject is a singular, and the second subject is plural. In this case, which verb must be used? We have to look at the first subject, and here the first subject is the teacher, and we have to use singular verb. The teacher, with all the students of his class, has signed the letter. For example, if the sentence is like this, all the students with the teacher have signed the letter. So if it is like that, then we have to use the plural. And another example, they with their teacher need to work hard. They with their teacher. They is plural, their teacher is a singular, but they have used a plural verb, need. Otherwise, it must be needs. So they, with their teacher, need to work hard. So once again, keep in mind, when the subjects are joined by with, together with, or as well as, we have to look at the first subject. If the first subject is a singular, then use the singular verb. If it is a plural, then use the plural verb. Next one, subject is a relative pronoun. If the subject is a relative pronoun, then what we have to do? Then we have to increase in number and person with the antecedent of the relative pronouns. Antecedent is a noun or a pronoun that a relative pronoun refers to. So for example, I am the girl. I am the girl who has won the gold medal. Here, who is a relative pronoun, and the verb must be agrees with the antecedent of this who. And what is the antecedent? I am the girl. I is a singular, and we have to use a singular verb. Who has won the gold medal. And another example, you who are my driver should wait for me. You is your second person, and we have to use the verb are. You who are my driver should wait for me. So dear students, when it is a relative pronoun, when the subject is a relative pronoun, we have to look at the antecedent of the relative pronoun. And depends on the antecedent, we have to use the verb. If the antecedent is a singular, then use the singular verb. If the antecedent is a plural, then use the plural verb. Next two rules are about the collective nouns. A collective noun, when refers to a collection as a whole, as a one team, then we have to use it as a singular. Then we have to use the singular verb. If it is considered as refers to the collection separately as individuals, then we have to use plural. So dear students, here you may get some confusion, but listen very carefully. Collective noun, when it refers to a collection as a whole, as a one, then it will be a singular verb. For example, the crew was large. When we look at the crew, there are many people in the crew, but it is considered as a one team. Then it is singular verb. The jury has given its verdict. The jury has given its verdict. In this case, we have seen the jury as one team, and we have to use a singular verb. If it is considered as a separately as individuals, then we have to use a plural. The crew were taken prisoners. The crew were taken prisoners. Individually, it is taken prisoners. The next one, the jury are reconsidering their decision. The jury are reconsidering their decision. There, in this sentence, the jury is considered as individual persons. So we have to use, as it is considered as a separately, we have to use a plural verb. Once again, when the subject is a collective noun, if it is used as a collection of one team, then we have to, or as a whole, then we have to use a singular verb. And if it is used separately, individually, based on its meaning, then we have to use a singular verb. And the next rule is, when a noun denotes the name of a place, an institution, or the title of a book, sometimes the name of a person looks like a plural, or the name of a book looks like a plural, or a place looks like a plural. But even though it looks like a plural, we have to use a singular. For example, Gulliver's Travels. It looks like a plural, but it's the name of a book, and we have to use a singular verb. Is an interesting book. Udaipur is known for its lake palace. Security Council is one of the 6 organs of the UN. So whatever it is, if it is talking about a name of a place, institution, or a title of book, then we have to use a singular verb. Dear students, you have to revise all these subject-verb agreements. Try to create your own sentence to learn these rules and learn by heart. Have a nice day. God bless you all.